Requesting backup!
Hey everybody, it's Blue here from Blue Bears Games, and for this video I will be unboxing the fourth of the 5 March of the Machine Commander precons called Call for Backup. This precon is red, green, and white, also known as Naya, and suggests using Bright Palm Soul Awakener as the main commander. Once again, this precon contains cards for the plane chase mechanic, which I won't be going into, but if you want to learn more about it, you can look it up on the Wizard's website. Let me start by telling you what Bright Palm does first, and then I'll go from there. Bright Palm is 4 mana to cast for a 4/3 legendary Fox Shaman with 2 abilities. The first is called Backup, which means that when this creature enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. If you put that counter on any creature other than itself, that creature gains all of the abilities that follow the backup ability on the card with backup until end of turn. So for example, when Bright Palm enters play, if you put the counter on any other creature that you control, it will gain the ability that I'm about to describe. That ability states that whenever this creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature. That creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less this turn. My guess is that this deck will revolve around the backup ability with a secondary theme of +1/+1 counters just going by Bright Palm's abilities. Last week I stated that this may be the weakest of the 5 March of the Machine precons, so let's open her up and see if I'm right or not. Before I do rip this bad boy open and show you what's inside though, I want to take a moment to let you know that if you're in the market for an awesome looking deck box, playmat, or sleeves, please visit our sponsor at arcane-fortress.com and take a look at what they have. Their deck boxes are some of the best I've ever used, and you can even get an additional 5% off of your purchase if you use discount code BLUEBEAR at checkout. Now, if you want to take a closer look at their deck boxes, check out the link that just popped up at the top right of your screen just now. That link will take you to a review I did of their deck box so you can see how it looks and all of its features. Now let's get to it and see what's in the box. So here's what the box looks like. It has the Call for Backup name on it. Here's the colors that the box is. Here's the suggested commander, which we'll get into in a little bit. And then here's what's on the back of the box. Again, this is going to have the plane chase cards in it. So let's just rip it open and take a look at what we got. So as per the other ones, it has the 3 sides, but 4 +1/+1 counters on that side, and then the top. And then it has the punch outs, which again, I still have no idea what to do with. This is going to have the plane chase cards in it. Here is the actual deck box that comes with it, and I wish it was easier to get out. There we go. And then all the extra goodies, including the die. So we'll throw this aside. Here's the life wheel that comes with it. Again, generic looking. Love that it's generic looking. The planar die that you use if you do the plane chase thing, which I don't think most people do. Here's the insert. This, of course, is going to have a little bit about the person who is supposed to, or I'm sorry, the card that's supposed to be the commander. And then, of course, on the other side, there are the rules, the special rules for commander. Alright, fold that back up, throw that to the side. Here's the box. And once again, it is a vertical box instead of a horizontal box, which I'm glad they went back to, even if it looks like it's just for this set. Close it up. Here is the front with the Planeswalker symbol, the side, the back, and then, of course, the 3 colors it is. Put that aside. Inside the package, of course, is the plane chase cards and the Collector's Booster Sample Pack. Like last time, I'll show you the cards that were for plane chase, but I will not go into them. I'll just real quickly go over them, or not go over them, but show you them. Chaotic Aether, Jund, Bloodhill Bastion, Karashka Falls, I think that's how that's said, Grove of the Dream Pods, Megaflora Jungle, Riptide Island, the Great Eyrie, the Golden City of Araska, Tawashi, and that's it. So that's what those came in for this precon. Put them back in here. We're going to open up the sample pack. Fingers crossed I actually finally, once or twice maybe in my lifetime, will actually end up with an actual good card. Zoom it a little bit and then open it up. Throw that in the trash and see what we get. Alright, you ready? Begin the invasion. So a 5-color X card. Possibly usable. I have a possible use for it. And then, oh look, a foil special treatment Finn the Fangbearer. So that may be the next version of Finn that I make is with that. So not horrible. I mean, 2 usable cards.
So let me put them aside. We're here for the deck, right? So let's open the deck up, and we'll show you everything that's inside. Alright, throw out the trash, split the deck at least somewhat in half. Put that half to the side, and then, alright. Let me zoom it a little bit. There we go. Alright, so we have Bright Palm Soul Awakener, the foil version. I've already gone over what that one is, so we'll skip that for now. The secondary commander that they tell you that you could possibly use is Shalai and Halar. So it's 1 white, 1 green, 1 red, and 1 for a 3/3 Flying Vigilance Angel Elf that says whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature that you control, Shalai and Halar deal that much damage to the target opponent. So, not bad. Let's see what else we got. So, Command Tower, which is in every single deck. Commander Sphere, which has been in most of the decks recently. Cultivate, which is pretty good land ramp. Actual, true, honest-to-goodness ramp. Evolving Wilds, it's in almost every deck. Fertilid, I like that. Goes and gets something. Fractured Power Stone. I'm not going to take this out because it is still a 2 to cast mana rock that comes into play untapped, so that's a good one. Kodama's Reach, another good ramp card. Path of Ancestry, that's actually not a bad land to have in a deck. Pride Malkin, that's a nice little reprint. Oop. Return to Nature, good removal. I put that in a lot of my budget commander decks. Terramorphic Expanse, go get to the land. What else? Goes and gets a forest card for you. Abzan Battle Priest has the Outlast ability. If you've never seen the Outlast ability, it's interesting but not great. So you pay whatever the Outlast cost is. So this one, it's 1 white, and then you tap it, and you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it can only be done as a sorcery. And then he has the ability to give all other creatures with a +1/+1 counter on it lifelink. So not horrible. Another Outlaster, Abzan Falconer. Elharu Solemn Ritualist. This one is a 5 to cast 3/3. It is a human monk that says when it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each up to 2 target creatures. Whenever a non-token creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, you create a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying, and it has partner. So this can be paired with another creature that has the partner ability. Arcane Signet, again in every commander precon. Armorcraft Judge is really good with +1/+1 counters. Brawn only works for the ability to if it's in your graveyard. Guard Stronghold, some more +1/+1 counter stuff. Conclave Mentor, more +1/+1 counter stuff. Constable of the Realm, I don't know this one. It's a 5 to cast 3/3. It is a giant soldier with Renown 2. Renown means that whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, if it isn't already renowned, you put whatever the renown amount of counters on it. So this is 2. So put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes renowned. So it can't get double renowned. And then, whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Constable of the Realm, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent until it leaves the battlefield. So, I think that's a new card for this precon. Alright, Elite Scale Guard, that is a reprint. Enduring Scale Lord, deals with +1/+1 counters, and a reprint. Falconwrath Exterminator, I actually put this in my vampire decks when I do the black-red version. It deals with +1/+1 counters. Field of Ruin, hey, even they know that you sometimes have to put land destruction lands in a precon or a cheaper deck because you never know what you're going to find. Generous Gift is great removal. Good Fortune Unicorn, great for +1/+1 counters. Hamza, Guardian of Arashin, also +1/+1 counter centric. Death Greeter's Champion, I don't think I know this one. 3 to cast 2/1, has Dash. Dash is a cool ability. Dash says you may cast this spell for its dash cost, and then it gains haste, and at the beginning of your next end step, you return it back to your hand. And then there's also as backup, which is the whole point of this deck, and Double Strike. So I believe this is new for this deck specifically. Uncivil Unrest, so it's a 5 to cast enchantment that says non-token creatures that you control have Riot. Riot means that they enter the battlefield with either a +1/+1 counter or haste, whichever one you choose. And then if a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it would deal damage to a permanent or a player, it deals double that damage instead, so that's not bad. Ichor Elixir, you've seen in all my previous videos. If you haven't, I will be taking this out probably. Mirror Style Master, so it's a 6 to cast 3/3 human warrior with backup 1, and then whenever this creature attacks, for each attacking modified creature that you control, you create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that creature, and then you exile those tokens at the end of combat. Not bad. I see where it's going. Guardian Scale Lord, I think this is new for the deck too. It's a 5 to cast 3/4 dragon with backup 1 and flying. And whenever this creature attacks, return target non-land permanent with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is this creature's power. Okay, so graveyard recursion. Emergent Woodworm, it's a 7 to cast 4/4. That's a high casting cost. Has backup 3, and then it says whenever this creature attacks, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is its power, and then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So that's why it's so expensive, is it brings stuff into play for free for you. Path of the Pyromancer, so 5 to cast sorcery. It says discard all the cards in your hand and add red for each card discarded this way. Then draw that many cards +1. And then Will of the Planeswalkers says starting with you, each player votes for either Planeswalker Chaos, and then we know that this is where if more votes go one way or the other, you either Planeswalk or Chaos ensues. And again, I like the ability that this card has outside of that, so it may stay in, but for the most part, all those cards come out when they deal with that stuff. All right, Conclave Sledge Captain is a 6 to cast 4/4. It has backup 1, and backup 1, which means that it can do it 3 different separate triggers. Then it has Trample, and then whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. So this one's a funky card. This is definitely kind of cool. Colonian Hydra, oldie but goodie. This is a reprint. It's 5 to cast 0/0. Has Trample, comes into play with 4 +1/+1 counters, and then when it attacks, you double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. So not bad. Mikaeus to Lunark, another reprint. Canopy Vista, so his budget land. Champion of Lambholt, actually a really good card. It's not monetarily that pricey, but for what it can do for a deck, it's actually really good. Cinderglade, another budget land. Dramaka's Command, nice reprint there. Exotic Orchard, it's in every precon, they need to stop doing that. Flame Crush Rider, I think this may be a new one for this deck. I don't recall this card. It's a 5 to cast 3/3. It's a human warrior that says whenever it attacks, create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature, and that's tapped and attacking, and exile it at the end of combat, and it has dash, which is that thing I just told you about a little bit ago, where you can pay the dash cost for it, and it'll come into play, but that at the beginning of your end step, you have to return it back to your hand. I like dash as an ability. Flame Shadow Conjuring creates tokens that are copies of creatures that you've cast. You have to pay the 1 red every time you cast a creature, and it'll make a copy. Forgotten Ancient, that's a nice little reprint there. Fortified Village, another budget land. That's a reprint. The White-Red Snarl, that's a reprint. Game Trail. Gavany Township, it's actually a pretty cool land. You can actually, this is a reprint. You tap it to add a colorless, or you can pay 2, a green and a white, and tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, which is not that bad. Genesis Hydra, this is a reprint, but a different picture. Gyre Stage, good ramp creature. It's a good mana dork. Heaven to Earth, another reprint. It's either a Hurricane or an Earthquake, depending on how you look at it. High Sentinels of Arishan. I don't recognize this card, so I'll read it. It's a 4 to cast 3/4 flying that gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. And for 4, and colon meaning you can do it as much as you can afford, put a +1/+1 counter on target creatures. So that's pretty cool. That's the first half. Let's look at the next half. All right. Incubation Druid. So it's a mana dork that with counters on it, it provides a lot of mana. Inscription of Abundance. I actually needed this for a budget deck I was making. That's a nice reprint right there. Ion Storm. I know that this is possibly a reprint, but I don't recall what it does. So it's a 30 cast enchantment that you can pay 1 red and 1 of any, and remove a +1/+1 counter or a charge counter from a permanent that you control, and it'll deal 2 damage to any target. I believe that that's an older card. Kessig Wolf Run. Nice little land that gives a creature a boost of power and trample. Krenko, not the good one. Mana Gorger Hydra. This is actually a pretty good card. Nice little reprint. Mossfire Valley. Let's hope there's only one of these in there. Mosswort Bridge. Restoration Angel. Combo piece if you put it with another card. It's a nice little reprint there. Rishkar Pima Renegade. It's actually not a bad mana dork there. Semester's End. Shrionic Resonator. That's actually a really good reprint. Kind of surprised that's in there. Sungrass Prairie. Sunscorched Regent. Alright, so the deck's not as bad as I was thinking it would be. Temple of Abandon. Please, God, no more temples. How many times are they going to put temples in these decks? Can we stop doing that? Maybe we'll replace them with the Karlov set. Together Forever. It's a reprint too. Triskelion. Great card. You can go infinite with this guy if you do it right. Hindervines. So a fog effect. Inspiring Call. Good card draw for a +1/+1 counter theme. Jungle Shrine is the Tri-Land before Triomes were made. Juniper Order Ranger is a really good card, actually. I actually use this in some of my budget decks because it's really good. Corrosion Verge, that's nice. Nice go and get one of each land. Llanowar Reborn, why aren't we getting more of these reprinted in a lot of these Commander precons? Mindless Automaton, another reprint. Rogue's Passage. Slurk All Ingesting, that's the other partner, I guess. A Soul Ring, we finally got to that. Swords of Plowshares, really good removal. Temple of the False God, they need to stop putting them in decks too. And then we've got the lands, so Plains, Mountains, Forests. Here's the thick version of Bright Palm Soul Awakener. As you can see, it's a little thicker. This is one card, that's so you don't shuffle it into your library by accident. And then we got the tokens. Spirit tokens, Goblin tokens, Elephants, Butterflies. I don't recall what makes butterflies. What's on the other side? We got City's Blessings, Sliver tokens. Cool. Could use these. And some treasure tokens. Oop, drop that one.
And that, my friends, what was in the Call for Backup March of the Machine Commander Precon. Truth be told, I didn't have high hopes for what this deck was all about, but after looking at it, I may have been wrong. Sure, this is solely a combat-based deck at its core, but I do see some potential. Maybe the upgrade guide I will be releasing tomorrow will help take the deck to the next level, so be sure to join me for that. Thanks for watching, and if you could, please do me the favor of giving the video a like, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so yet, sharing this out to anyone you think would enjoy it, and visiting our sponsor at arcane-fortress.com and using discount code BLUEBEAR for an additional 5% off your order if you do decide to purchase anything from them. Now, unless you decide to go and watch some of my many other videos, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.